What's up, folks? It's Corey hosting this week's show. Eric is at the Wizards' second promotional night of the season, and we fully expect to see him in his pajama pants designed by Bub Carrington next week. Shout out to the Week 12 winner of our NFL Pick'em pool on Sleeper, Adrian25, the only entrant to reach double digits this week. I finally had a good week, but came up one pick short, so well done. You can still join and play for a weekly win. Just use the link in our show notes. Tonight, Evan and I will discuss some of the most impactful games from Week 12, look ahead to Week 13 games we're excited for, and we'll see where else the night takes us on this Thanksgiving week episode. Now for some easy listening music to start the program. Hello and welcome to the Sports Ballers Podcast. I am your host for this week, Corey Puffett, joined by Evan Ash.
And that's it.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hungry and tired as usual, but, good to be here.
Yeah. No Eric, as I mentioned on the intro. He is at the Wizards game, which Washington, at my last check, was winning 25-8. That has not stopped the Hawks from being the betting favorite still. We've got a new update, which
Hawks have them right where they want them.
I don't know how this happened in 8 minutes, but the Wizards are now at 45-16.
Oh, wow.
So Eric just might be
It's still anybody's
the good
game.
luck charm for the Wizards. But yes,
It's still anybody's game.
It's still anybody's game.
The betting window is wide open.
All right, so let's jump into things here. We've got a good bit to talk about on the NFL side of things, and we'll see if we get to anything else this week. But let's start with some of the games from this past weekend. I do want to take a little bit of a victory lap because, Evan, do you remember what the title of last week's episode was?
Something about if you believe that, then
it might
fine.
be true that you think that, but it's not true.
About Mason Rudolph, wasn't it?
Yes.
So what does it have to do with the Rams-Bucks?
No, we haven't. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Uh-huh.
We're going to start, though, with me taking a victory lap because Mason Rudolph was at least as good as Aaron Rodgers has been this season in that game. The Bears ultimately won narrowly, but Mason Rudolph played at least as well as Aaron Rodgers had.
I mean, you can take a victory lap around a pebble in a parking lot. That's fine. What?
Oh, goodness. Vikings-Packers was a dud of a game because J.J. McCarthy sucks. I saw one of my favorite stats that I've ever seen this week, which is that out of, I believe it was, I need to find the exact number just to make sure that I'm not messing this up. Out of 852 qualified quarterbacks since 2000, it's a lot of quarterbacks.
Yes.
J.J. McCarthy has the second lowest EPA per dropback, or expected points added per dropback. Only better
than Jamarcus
Russell, who famously took home a playbook on a DVD, came back, said, "Oh yeah, it was great. I'm so glad I reviewed it," and it was a blank disc.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one guy that McCarthy's better than.
Yeah, he's been brutal. I mean, that's sort of the risk you take when you start essentially a rookie quarterback. But ooh, lordy, he's been bad.
He's been awful. So let's talk about some of the actual good games this week, the ones that are worth discussing. And we will start with Rams-Bucks.
When was this?
Rams-Bucks was Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
That was Sunday night.
That explains why I didn't see it.
The Rams were up big at halftime. What was the final score of this game?
No idea.
I don't remember. I know that the Rams outscored the Bucks 3-0 in the second half. It was a blowout. All of it in the first half, because Baker Mayfield got hurt just before halftime. Seems like he may have avoided any serious injury. He could potentially play this week. They don't have any long-term concerns, but he did not play at all in the second half, and the Rams essentially took their foot off the gas. The reason this is on the list is because last week we were talking about this game and how important it was and how big of a game it was and how we thought, coming off of the Bucs, losing to the Bills, not really getting blown out, but never really being in a position to win that game, this was going to be a big test for them against the Rams. Well, if this was a test, they failed monumentally.
Yes, but they're getting a huge curve at the end of the season because they're in the NFC South. Okay,
that's true,
right? They might be scoring a 50%, but you know what? That's still tops in the class.
I'm writing that one down.
Right? Like they're doing great compared to the rest of their division. Right? We saw the Panthers last night. That was garbage out of them. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what the 49ers were doing either. But
yeah, Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions in the first 20 or so minutes of game time.
He was just spray and pray out there, just chucking it somewhere.
Well, I mean, they got the win, and it helps when you have the guy who used to be your opponent's best player.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have Christian McCaffrey. He's been awesome. Cowboys-Eagles probably should not have made this list because the Eagles were leading this game 21-0.
Yes.
And then they somehow lost 24-21.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What happened there?
I have no idea because I was at Navy Stadium on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, you were at the DeMatha game. We'll talk about that later.
The game I actually saw. But, if you're the Eagles, this is embarrassing, but it's also you can't win all of them, right? Because, they have such a big lead in their division.
They ended up splitting the season series with the Cowboys because they did win that Week 1 game. We look back, and it feels like they lost it.
Oh, the spitting on Dak Prescott.
Yeah, because you had Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott before the game even began. And it felt like the Cowboys had won because, I think I went lone wolf and took the Cowboys against the spread in that game. And I wound up being right, mostly because Jalen Carter didn't play. So it felt like a Cowboys win. It was not a Cowboys win. This one was a Cowboys win, or if we're being honest, an Eagles loss. It was embarrassing in the second half. The Eagles just completely stopped playing offense. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown had a great connection in the first half, and somehow just decided to go completely away from that in the second half.
I mean, this is the type of loss that's going to keep the Eagles from being the 1 seed in the NFC. And this is also the type of loss that could keep them from winning in the playoffs because sort of championship teams don't have letdowns. They don't just we'll take this one off.
And at this point, it kind of feels like there's only one team in the NFL, not just the NFC, the whole NFL, who has not had a letdown, at least not one that stands out.
The Rams.
And that's the Rams.
Yeah.
At this point, they're the only team that I feel confident in. And so, of course, they're going to blow it against the Panthers this week. Just know it.
They're playing the Panthers?
Yeah, they're playing the Panthers this week in Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the credit where it's due to the Cowboys. They played good football in the second half. Dak Prescott and George Pickens it's been a really good connection between the two of them this year, which I thought that it would be. It was sort of a match made in heaven. George Pickens specializes in running deep routes. Dak Prescott specializes in throwing the deep ball.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty well for them for the most part this year. It just they haven't been able to string several good games together in a row. That's been their pitfall, and that's why they're not a team that you can have a lot of confidence in. But they're a team that can win any single matchup.
I mean, but coming into the season, it was Dallas's defense that was their sort of horrible flaw, right? They couldn't stop anybody, and so somehow the Eagles got up to this huge lead, and then
the Cowboys stopped them.
It stopped increasing. What happened there? Did the Eagles, like I said before, they just go to sleep? Or did Dallas actually play some defense?
Yeah, I mean, it was
Seems like a little of both.
It was definitely a little bit of both. I don't know. It was just such a mess of a game. I wouldn't even really say that the Cowboys defense played that great in the second half. They were fine, but the Eagles' offense just started sputtering. They had the fumble by Xavier Gipson on the punt return late in the game. It's the kind of loss that could ultimately unravel a season. As you said, the Eagles still have a big lead in the NFC East.
3 games.
I don't expect there's plenty of time left in the season, theoretically. I don't see them losing that lead. I don't see them not winning this division.
Because there's nobody there to take it from them.
Right. However, that doesn't mean that they can't go into the playoffs already limping and then just get absolutely clobbered by whoever they play in the first round.
Yeah.
They could play the they could play the NFC equivalent
team
of the Houston Texans, who are always just
in the Shakey's game.
In the Shakey's game, just perpetually relegated to the Shakey's game. They could play that equivalent in the NFC, and I don't have confidence that the Eagles would win that game.
Not the way they're playing right now.
No, they've now had multiple games in a row where they have either played a poor first half or a poor second half. They're only playing 30 minutes of good football a week, and that's not how you repeat as Super Bowl champions.
No.
Looking at some of the other matchups, I guess we'll talk a little bit about my Lions against the Giants. We did ultimately get the win.
You have a good cardiologist? What in the world, man?
I might need one if we have too many more of those, because a
barn burner.
The touchdown pass to Wan'Dale Robinson, I was like, you got to be kidding me! Whatever. We're
got Heisman winner Jameis Winston.
This is probably going to destroy. This is probably going to destroy my pick'em pick, because I took the Lions to win big. They were favored by, I want to say, 8.5 points or something like that in this game. After the Wan'Dale touchdown, I was like, yeah, it's probably not happening. After the Jameis Winston touchdown catch, I was flabbergasted. I could not believe what I had just witnessed. I love me some Jameis Winston.
Yes.
You know that Eric and I love us some Jameis Winston.
Not when he's lighting your
He
team
is
up.
Fun to watch. We both believe that next year he should be signed to a contract that allows him to play for any of the 32 teams when their starter is hurt. Because Jameis Winston should be starting a game every single week of the season. Doesn't matter which team he starts for. He should be starting a game every week.
He probably should have been starting for the Giants
I
all
don't
year.
want him starting against my team, because I'm watching this and I'm like, that might be the greatest quarterback receiving touchdown ever. That might be better than Tom Brady's one-handed touchdown catch.
When was that?
I don't even remember what game it was. I just remember him catching it. I think he pinned
decade
it to
was
his.
that?
It could have been any decade. But that was an amazing touchdown catch. Why did it have to come against my team? Why did it have to almost lose us the game? And then the field goal by Jake Bates at the end of regulation.
Squeaked in there.
Mind you, this is a domed stadium. There's no wind in here. How does a ball curve like that?
Put some English on it.
It was clearly going wide right.
You teach English.
Somehow spun back inside the upright. And then Jahmyr Gibbs already had a 49-yard rushing touchdown, had a 3-yard receiving touchdown, pops off for a 69-yard rushing touchdown. Says that he went into the huddle and Amon-Ra told him, score a touchdown. And he's like, I listened to him. He's like, I listened to Amon-Ra. If he tells me to score a touchdown, I'm going to score a touchdown.
Probably shouldn't listen to that guy.
Amon-Ra, can you tell him to score a touchdown in every huddle next week, please? Because we might need it this Thursday against the
Green
Packers.
Bay.
Yes.
Matt Eberflus not on the other sideline this year on Thanksgiving.
Got to talk about the Thursday night game. Feels like forever ago. Texans-Bills.
Oh.
Because what were the Bills doing? You're coming off a game where Josh Allen scores 6 touchdowns, 3 passing and 3 rushing, and then you lose to the Texans.
Well, I mean, the Texans have a really good defense.
The Texans do have a really good defense. Their offense didn't really do anything in that game.
There's the issue.
Like,
right?
Their best two players in that game on offense, arguably, were Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, and they combined for less than 15 fantasy points, I think.
And their quarterback was...
I wouldn't call Woody Marks a cast-off. He's a rookie.
Oh, okay. He's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's a sixth-round rookie who should not be in the position he's in, and yet he's basically
barely
a starter
in the
now.
league.
And he's in my starting lineup because my fantasy team is buns.
Oh, really? Buns and thighs.
I wish we were thighs. I think we're just the buns.
Oh, okay.
To have thighs would be a massive improvement.
Wow.
But no, I mean, credit to the Texans because they played hard, and we love their coach.
Yes,
we know he's a good coach. That defense is formidable. The offense has got to get it together. You got too many weapons to not be better. C.J. Stroud was fantastic as a rookie, and he's been bad for more than a year and a half now.
Well, I mean, he took a step back last year, which is kind of understandable because he's incredible.
Arguably taken another step back from that this year.
Then he's been hurt.
That's not how. Yes, but that's not an injury that you expect somebody to come back and need a lot of time to work their way back in to form.
I mean, he hasn't played at all in months. Well, not months, but
he's
multiple weeks. Right?
No, he's played 3 weeks in a row now, I think.
I thought he was out 3 weeks in a row.
He may have been, but I think that... let me look at this real quick.
Maybe one of us has a concussion. You watch Anthony Rizzo for 4 months being terrible, and they're like, oh, he might have a concussion from May. And it's
shoot.
August.
What am I talking about?
I don't know.
It was Davis Mills playing in that game.
Yeah, the neck guy.
Yeah. Jeez. Thursday's too long ago to be talking about these games. No, Davis Mills actually played so-so in this game. He played better than Josh Allen did with 2 interceptions. But, the Bills need to get James Cook more involved. He's too good of a player to only be getting 20 touches in a game.
20 touches?
Yeah.
How many more does he need?
He should have 30 touches a game.
Ooh.
That's what this team needs. Who else are you giving the ball to in this offense?
I mean, I think the Bills' issue was their defense getting lit up by Davis Mills and Woody Marks.
I wouldn't even really call it lit up, and Woody Marks was okay, but he ran for less than 5 yards a carry on 16 touches. Davis Mills had 153 passing yards on 16 completions. That's not lighting it up. He once he was in the end zone, I mean, he had 2 touchdown passes and no picks. That part of it was good, but he wasn't out there lighting them up. I think the Bills gave up.
What was the time of possession sort of ratio?
The time of
did the Bills just get the ball a little bit and then punt?
That's a fair question.
Or get the ball a little bit and turn it over? Why didn't they score more points if they didn't get lit up on defense? That doesn't sound like a game you should lose.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that because the total offensive yardage for the Texans was 261.
That's not a lot.
No, that's not a lot at all.
Sounds like
the time possession was relatively even. The Bills actually had the ball for almost 5 more minutes than the Texans had it.
Okay, so I guess they had red zone issues.
There's really no excuse for the Bills. They did have red zone issues, but so did the Texans. The Texans had 4 red zone attempts. Mm-hmm. They scored twice.
Scored it all. Twice.
They scored when in the red zone twice out of 4 times.
Okay.
The Bills scored none out of 2 times in the red zone.
Oh.
So yes, issues, but the Texans weren't. They also failed 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be in the red zone to score. It helps, but I mean the Bills scored 19 points without scoring a touchdown from the red zone. So, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty ugly game. A lot of these primetime games have been
They've
ugly
all been
recently.
brutal.
The last two weeks in particular, have we had one good primetime game
I don't think so.
in these last 2 weeks? It hasn't
I've
felt
been
like
going
it.
to bed early.
I don't blame you. The last game that we want to talk about from this past week was Chiefs-Colts. Another blown victory. This one by the Colts. They had the Chiefs where they needed to have them.
Of course,
The Chiefs were out of this. The Colts were in a great position. All you need to do is give the ball to
Jonathan Taylor.
the MVP. But no, we're going to make sure that he doesn't win the MVP by not giving him the ball and letting Patrick Mahomes bring his team back. What are we doing?
I don't know. I told you the Colts were frauds. You can't trust them. It's a predictable disaster, right? Like this. We knew they weren't going to win this game. At least I knew it, and I probably said, I'm like, they're not going to win because, they're. I found them to be kind of maybe not front running, but a little bit unsustainable or something. Like they didn't have, Jonathan Taylor's having a great year, and Daniel Jones has been, good. But like when you're really tested, who you truly are, it's gonna come out. So all the competent teams that the Chiefs ever play, it's always at Arrowhead Stadium, and this was supposed to have been a formidable opponent. The Colts didn't get blown out, but they didn't win.
The thing about this game was that the Colts were leading 20-9 entering the fourth quarter.
Okay.
You're winning by 2 scores and you don't run the ball at all. Do you know when the last first down of the game came for the Colts?
It was probably in the third quarter.
It was in the third quarter. It was with more than 2 minutes remaining. It was almost 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
My goodness. Well, they
18 minutes of game time without a first down. And if you give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 3 times in a row,
you're going to get
he's going to get a first down on most drives.
Yeah. Take Mrs. Tui's advice.
Why are you throwing the ball with Daniel Jones when you're already winning by 2 scores against a really good team that all they need is time? If you give the Chiefs enough time, they will win every single game they ever play because they have Patrick Mahomes. They just need enough time. Throwing the ball gives teams more time when you have Daniel Jones hucking incompletions left and right.
Yes.
You literally just devised a game plan to help your opponent win the game. Shane Steichen's got to go.
I mean, John Harbaugh would be proud of that blown lead late, right?
He's got to go.
Yeah, that's
I
how
mean,
you lose. It's not winning football.
This game potentially saves the Chiefs' season. They were 0-6 in one-score games this year. This is a team that last year was something like 8-1 or 9-1. I think they lost one-score game last year, but they won at least 8 one-score games last year, and it may have been more than that. They're now 1-6 in one-score games in 2025. That kind of a confidence booster, if nothing else, is huge for this team. I don't know what...
I don't know that they needed a confidence booster.
Right? I think it certainly doesn't help, but I think they did need one. I really do.
I feel like
this is a team that even with that win, they're still third place in a division that they've won 9 years in a row. I was going between 7 and 9. I couldn't remember which one it was. 9 years in a row that they've won the AFC West. They're in third place. They're still 3 games behind the Broncos. I think they absolutely needed a confidence boost, and this was just the thing to do it. They should be a game under 500 right now, but instead they're above 500. They get to play on. They play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Day.
If you lose this game to the Colts, and you're 5-6, going into Dallas to play a team that just had a ridiculous second half comeback win against the team that beat you in the Super Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Chiefs win that game in Dallas.
Oh.
I don't think they have a prayer. Having won this game, especially the way they did, they've got a lot of confidence going into Dallas on Thursday. I still think the Cowboys have a good shot to win it, but I'd say that the odds are more like 55% in the Cowboys' favor as opposed to where I probably would have put it like 75-80% in the Cowboys' favor if the Chiefs had lost this game against the Colts.
I feel like, well,
because there are some teams that when they lose a game, you are terrified to play them the next week.
right?
Right?
They're hungrier.
Yeah. But it's not enough just to be hungrier. You also have to be really good. You know, part of the reason that the Lions have won 14 consecutive games coming off of a loss is because they've been really good during that stretch of time.
Yeah.
When you're playing against, if you're playing against the Rams coming off of a loss, you're scared of them.
I mean, you should be scared of them coming off a win too. I mean, it's not
100%.
It's
100%. But you are terrified of them coming off of a loss. Playing against the Packers, you're scared of them coming off of a loss. I'm glad that they beat the Vikings, especially the way they did, because that makes me feel more confident for my Lions on Thursday. If the Packers had lost that game, with us having beaten the Giants and barely doing so, I'd be a lot more nervous than I am. I'm still nervous, but not as much as I would have been otherwise. The Chiefs are a team that, for the first time in a decade, at least, them coming off of a loss doesn't really scare me. I'm more worried about them gaining momentum from a win like this. That scares me a lot more.
I just think that the Chiefs' issue this season, why they haven't won as many games, is because they're not as good on paper. Like, you know, their receivers are not Mecole Hardman, but Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown.
Rashee Rice,
when he's not suspended.
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, him. Aged remnant of Travis Kelce, right? Like
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown.
Or Gray. Noah Gray.
Sure.
Whatever his name is.
Whatever. It doesn't matter, right? These are jabronis, right? Like, where's Dwayne Bowe at right now? Where, you know?
I mean, they've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I didn't know was still in the league. I thought he was...
Kareem Hunt.
Yes,
what year
Kareem
is this?
Hunt. Right.
So let's move on to this coming week. We could talk about that Cowboys Chiefs game
I think the
on
Chiefs
Thursday,
roll,
but
and you're gonna have to talk to your family instead.
I think the Cowboys are going to win that game, but it could be close. I'm more interested in the Packers-Lions game. Obviously, with me being a Lions fan, but also I think that's a really big game purely because one of these two teams I think is going to ultimately win this division. The Bears are fun. They're playing pretty good football.
Yeah.
I don't think they hold on.
No.
I just don't think they have the experience on that roster to hold on to the lead in this division. I think they could hold on to a playoff team. I think they could hold on to a playoff spot, but I don't think they win this division. I think it's going to either be the Packers or the Lions. So this is a really important game. The Lions have already played the Packers once, already beaten them.
Yeah.
Got to do it again.
Beat the Lions.
Sorry, yes.
That was in week
Packers
1.
beat the Lions. They have to do that again because if they don't, the Lions really control this division again, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if the Packers sweep the Lions, then, like, I don't know if the Lions really have an opportunity to catch up at that point.
Well,
like, if they have the tiebreaker and 2 losses already, like, you know, I think it's more likely that the Lions can come back and win it than if the Lions win on Thursday and I don't think the Packers can catch the Lions because the Packers have too many dumb losses.
Well, I
on
think the
on their
one
ledger so
thing that
far.
you have to take into consideration that I think is going to come into play at the end of the season is that tie on the Packers record. Like
I mean,
like
it's basically a loss.
well,
It's not a win.
it's half of a win.
It's just not a full win.
It's
They
still
win.
half of a win, and so the bottom line is, if the Packers have the tiebreaker
There's not
on
gonna be a
head to
tie.
head, you're not going to have a tie. So that this win puts them a game and a half ahead of the Lions instead of being a half game behind the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lions could win this game, and the Packers are still in a very good position in the division. The Packers win, it becomes a lot more difficult for the Lions. The Packers' remaining schedule, after this game against the Lions, they have the Bears twice. They've got the Vikings again, who they just rolled. They've got the Broncos and the Ravens. Tough schedule, but depending on what's going on with Lamar Jackson, that could be a very winnable
What
game.
side
for
of
them.
the bed are the
But-
Ravens going to wake up on?
But they ought to win at least one of the two Bears games, probably
They're
both.
gonna sweep.
They should destroy the Vikings the second time. The Lions' remaining schedule is the Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears.
Ooh.
Winnable games for the most part. The Rams one is the only one that I'm really terrified of because of the way the Rams have been playing. The Cowboys, we should win, especially given we're playing at home. Steelers, we should win pretty easily. Vikings, we should beat, and the Bears, we should beat. So, the Packers really need to win this game, is really the bottom line. Because even with that game and a half buffer, they play a tougher schedule down the stretch. It's going to be tough for the Lions to make it up, but not impossible. If the Lions take a half-game lead in this division here, I think it's a wrap.
I think I agree with that. Question mark? I think.
Black Friday. Well, do you want to talk about the Thursday night game?
Boy.
Your Ravens
Yes.
against the Bengals and Joe Burrow's triumphant return potentially?
Yes. So the Bengals have two Joe Cools on their team. And it's just, the Ravens defense remains incredibly toastable, especially by arrested Jamar Chase.
Yes, coming off of a suspension for spitting.
Yeah. So it's going to be a barn burner. It's in Baltimore. But yeah, the Ravens defense, I just can't trust these guys. The pass rush actually showed up a little bit this week. Ravens traded for Draymond Jones from the Titans, who got a sack this week. We were able to force a fumble of Breece Hall as he was about to score a big touchdown. So the defense is playing better, but in the first couple weeks of the season, it was the Ravens offense that was carrying them, and the defense was hot garbage. And now it's just switching back the other way because Lamar Jackson missed practice, I believe, again yesterday, with this time a toe. So that makes toe and
always
hamstring and ankle, and I think there was a fourth thing.
He's
that
really
he's
about to be in
mispracticed with.
a full body cast.
I think the Ravens are still messing around with the injury report, and it was just a veteran day off of practice type of thing.
Yeah.
But they, for some reason, can't say what the truth is. Thursday night's game really boils down to what Ravens defense shows up.
Well,
Are
the
we gonna
one
get after
benefit,
the quarterback.
the one big benefit for you guys is that while the Bengals are getting Jamar Chase back, they're not going to have T. Higgins. He's already been ruled out with a
He lights up the Ravens too.
Yeah. So, only having one of the two definitely handicaps the Bengals quite a bit. So the question is, can they generate the same pass rush and make Joe Burrow uncomfortable? Can you shut down Chase Brown and make sure the Bengals can't get any kind of a running game to keep the team honest? Because if they have no running game, Jamar Chase could go for 150 yards and it's not going to be close to enough. You guys will still win by
again.
Yeah, you guys will still win by 20.
I don't know about that. It's one thing though that I would be concerned about if I was a Bengals fan is Joe Burrow holds onto the ball longer than Joe Flacco did, right? Like Joe Flacco was just getting to the top of his drop and letting it rip. He's an old man that doesn't care.
I think the difference that you have to take into consideration, while it does get him into trouble sometimes, is that Joe Burrow is also a lot more athletic than Joe Flacco is, especially at these very different stages of their careers.
Yes.
Where Joe Burrow can buy more time and move
Burrow
around in and outside the pocket when he holds the ball.
When he has both good legs, though. He's coming off the turf toe, right? That sounds tame when it's not my foot. Right? Well, he's always only got turf toe.
Is an excruciating injury to deal with. But he was pushing to play this past week, and the only reason the Bengals did not play him on Sunday was because they felt that it would be a lot for him to come off injury and immediately play 2 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
So I think that he's 100% as far as the toe injury at this point.
I think so too.
So, Bears-Eagles is the Black Friday game. Should be a really interesting contest, the way that these two teams are tracking. The Bears, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think that they're capable of holding on to the lead in the NFC North, but they're a team that's been playing pretty solid football recently. Caleb Williams has not been great, but the weapons around him have been playing very well. Colston Loveland has been getting more involved in that offense.
Did DJ Moore have his third good game of his career this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a good game. Roma Dunze is still been solid. He had that one really bad dud game, but he's been good overall this year. You got DeAndre Swift, who's been playing very well at running back for them. This is a pretty solid team. The Eagles have shown that they can get got. You got to put together 60 minutes of good football. And I think that this is a make or break game for both of these teams in a lot of ways.
I feel like the Eagles kind of had their wake up call on Sunday.
One would hope, if you're an Eagles fan, you hope that served as a wake up call, because if that did not wake them up, they're catatonic.
I don't think the Bears have a chance in this game. It's just, the Bears being in first place, that's cute and all, but it's kind of big boys time. Now, if the Eagles don't play like it, then it's a different story. But I think the Eagles handle the Bears pretty comfortably.
I think the fun thing about this,
it's in Philly.
Yeah, it's in Philly,
and the Philly fans have been drinking in the parking lot since this morning.
Yeah,
they took the whole week off.
These two defenses are very interesting because the Eagles have played games where they look like the best defense in the NFL. The game against the Lions was one of those games where they just generated such an insane pass rush that we couldn't do anything to protect Jared Goff. It's a big reason why he was so ineffective in that game. But the Eagles have also had some really bad outings this year. They got absolutely destroyed by the Giants back in Week 6.
Right, that did happen.
They fell apart in the second half against Dallas. In fact, they actually had 2 kind of so-so games against the Giants this year. They're a team that you just don't necessarily know what you're going to get week to week on the defensive side. Overall, I'd say that they're a good unit, but are they a great unit? They haven't shown enough consistency for me to say that. The Bears are kind of in a similar place where they've had bad games. They were bad against your Ravens. They were bad at the week after that against the Bengals when they gave up like 42 points to Joe Flacco. But
the Bears won that game, right?
Yes, the Bears did. That was a shootout. It was like
49-44 or something.
Something in that range. I don't think that was the score, but it was somewhere in that range. But they've also had some good games this year. Granted, most of them have been against bad teams, and so I'm worried about what their defense is going to look like against the Eagles. But when you have an offense like the Eagles that has shown that they can go dormant for 30 minutes, If the Bears defense can take advantage of that stretch of time, Caleb Williams is going to have an opportunity to win this game.
I mean, yeah. Still give me Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm taking the Eagles as well, but this could be an interesting matchup. Texans-Colts is also happening this week.
Mm-hmm.
That one's an interesting game from my standpoint because of their positioning in the AFC South, because the Colts are 8-3, but have been looking increasingly fraudulent the last few weeks. And, you know, a loss against the Chiefs on paper, just like looking at, oh, they lost the game, doesn't feel
we would have predicted that in
awful.
August.
Right. But understanding the context of the way that loss came about, it doesn't bode well for this team. And the Texans coming off of that win against the Bills, I think have some confidence. The Jaguars have been starting, they've won their last 2 games, but they've not looked very good the last several weeks.
What? The Jaguars not looking good since when?
They're deep.
Since
the Jaguars'
1993.
defense is keeping them afloat because Trevor Lawrence certainly isn't. Trevor Etienne has been pretty good this year, but he can only do so
Travis
much.
Etienne.
Did I say Trevor?
Yes.
Goodness, I don't like when 2 brothers are in the league together.
Well, their names are too similar.
Yes. Really good Texans defense against a Colts offense that was very good early in the season and now seems to only be good when they feed Jonathan Taylor. That's really my question. If Jonathan Taylor does not get 25 plus touches in this game, I don't think the Colts win.
I mean,
I don't think that less than that gives him enough space to have the impact he would need to have on this game for the Colts to outscore the Texans, because they don't necessarily need to do a lot to outscore the Texans.
Yeah.
But you probably need 3 touchdowns. If Jonathan Taylor gets 25 touches, he's getting you at least 2 of those.
Yeah, I think it depends on if the Colts, if they fall behind, I don't know that they'll be able to catch up. Right? If they're in a more passing required type of game flow situation, if they're relying on Daniel Jones like they insisted on doing against Kansas City when they should have been running the ball, then they're going to lose again. Yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to see if I can find data on what kind of coverage the Texans have been mostly relying on. They've been playing,
I guess, because they have Stingley.
No, they've actually been playing 77% zone, which is not the highest rate in the NFL, but it's one of the 7 highest rates in the NFL of zone coverage. They really focus on taking away the middle of the field, which potentially gives some space for Alec Pierce, who does really well against single high coverage.
Mm-hmm.
That often means that you can, if you're closing down the middle of the field, you're often leaving something over the top.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that could potentially leave the door open for him, but Daniel Jones just is seeming to get worse and worse every week. Can he deliver a ball like that? So you got to feed Jonathan Taylor. That's really your only hope, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. What is C.J. Stroud's status?
Let's see if he's already ruled out for this week. No, he's expected to be back from his concussion.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah, they're hopeful that he will be back this week against the Colts. It's not a done deal or anything, but
all right.
Seems
and where
to be
is this
their
game?
Plan.
Houston?
No, it's in Indy.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Indy is that big of a home field advantage.
No.
I mean, it wasn't even really that big of a home field advantage when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. It certainly isn't now.
I mean, yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that DeMatha Stags title game that you and Eric were both at. Did you actually see Eric while you were there?
Yes.
Okay.
I finally did find Eric once he looked at his phone. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was watching the stream. It was buffering a lot for the first 3 quarters, much cleaner in the fourth quarter.
Why weren't you there?
I'm not gonna drive all the way out to Annapolis on a Sunday evening.
I did.
You drive everywhere around the country. You have no problem driving.
Okay. Yeah. Does your car? Is it a Flintstones car or something?
No.
What's wrong?
I just don't want to drive out to Annapolis at night. I'd rather stay at home and watch that game on my
watch football.
Yeah, watch that game on my screen and watch the Sunday night game.
Oh, okay. Which was a dud.
Yes, it was. But anyway, Stags completed an undefeated season, beat Gonzaga in a close game. Much closer than our regular season matchup was when we blew them out. Eric was on the call for that game. But, I mean, it was a very defense-heavy game for the first quarter and a half. It was 0-0 for a long time.
Yes, it was.
And then I think it was Gonzaga who – did Gonzaga open the scoring or did we open the scoring?
We scored first. We missed the extra point.
That's right. That's what it was. What did you think? You haven't watched any DeMatha games this season.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen a whole lot of high school football in my life. So, like, the sort of strategy of it and, like, what you do in certain situations, I don't know.
Well, it's a little different because, there are more limitations as far as, like, your playbook. You don't have quarterbacks who can reliably stretch the field in an effective way.
Your kicking operation is going to be something. Something's going to happen. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, what stood out to you for DeMatha?
I mean, it was certainly the kicking operation. I thought our quarterback could sling it a little bit. He can
Tristan
kind of around.
Tristan Saba's pretty good, and he's a junior, so he'll be back next year. Cooper Neal is our backup quarterback. He's a sophomore, and I have Cooper in class, and he's a really good kid. I root for him, but I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him to potentially step up and beat out Tristan Saab because Tristan had a really good year. You lead a team to an undefeated season. It's going to be a lot harder to usurp him as a starter. So he's likely going to be our starting quarterback for his senior year. We're going to lose quite a few pieces. Probably the biggest piece we'll be losing is LeVar Keys, number 5, our wide receiver. He's been our punt returner, kick returner. He's our outside wide receiver. He's been fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
So he's graduating, and then Elijah Lee, our running back, is also a senior, so he'll be graduating. But definitely congratulations to the Stags on that win. LeVar committed to Indiana this week.
Oh.
So good for him. Darrell Carey, who had the game-winning interception at the end of the game, he committed to Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where are the Georgia Tech commits? What's going on?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right, maybe.
Not on our team, I guess.
I'm gonna have to. There's a couple at athletic association I need to donate to get the pipeline going.
The last thing that I wanted to just briefly touch on. We're not gonna dive way into this. This is a story that has been on our radar for weeks now. Or actually going on months at this point. And we are going to talk about at some point, but all of this stuff with sports betting going on in professional sports. You had back in about a month ago, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier were arrested. They were part of a couple of different gambling operations, I guess. And so we're keeping an eye on that story, but the interesting thing is that story is still developing in the sense that about that same time, in fact, that Billups and Rozier were arrested, the NCAA had voted to permit professional sports betting by college athletes and coaches. So they were going to allow players and coaches for NCAA teams to bet on professional sports.
Okay.
That was a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point that college coaches and athletes are not allowed to participate in fantasy sports where there is money involved, where you're like, I think you are allowed to if you aren't putting money in, but you can win money. But if you're putting money in and can win it, you're not allowed to participate in those fantasy sports.
Okay.
They were going to change that rule. On Friday of last week, the schools in the NCAA voted to rescind that rule. So this was a rule that was being put in place by the NCAA's leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a rule that allows schools to vote within 30 days to rescind a proposed rule. Mm-hmm. And you need 75% of member schools in Division 1 to vote to do that in order for a rule to not go into effect. Not 75%, 2/3, 67%.
Oh, no. Is that a math error live on the podcast?
It's been a while. They reached that bar on Friday, one day before the 30-day period would have ended, after which this rule would have gone into effect and could not be rescinded by the schools.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the sports betting fallout that has come from, Phillips, Rozier. A couple of weeks ago, the NCAA revoked the eligibility of 6 men's basketball players over allegations of sports betting. All of this, like I said, this is still a developing story. It did not start and stop with Billups and Rozier. We've seen more in this area taking place since then. I think that if it had not been for all of that, this rule may have gone into effect, and college coaches and players may have been allowed to start gambling on pro sports, which I don't think should have been the case anyway.
Yeah. I mean, sitting here as you're explaining all of this, I was thinking, why shouldn't college coaches and athletes be allowed to bet on pro sports? But then, as you were thinking about it more, the line between college and pro sports is slowly blurring now that college players are getting paid as well. So at this point, to me, if you're going to be a college athlete, I guess particularly football and basketball, you shouldn't be allowed to be in any sort of gambling, because, like I said, the line is blurring.
Yep.
It's all sort of becoming the same thing. So if you can bet on this but not that, then it's too easy to get it mixed up.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about that, I think.
So we will, we're gonna continue to follow the story, and at some point, we'll wait until Eric is back on the show anyway, but we are going to get into that at some point. That's one of the major topics that has been on our radar for some time. It's still unfolding. It's still playing out, and we don't feel like we need to be the first to cover a topic. We're a once a week podcast, so we very rarely would have the opportunity to be first anyway. We'd much rather be able to take the time to educate ourselves on what's going on, digest it, and really think about how we want to talk about it. But that story is on our radar. It is coming at some point. But we are just about out of time here. We're a little bit under an hour, but I have no problem ending a few minutes early. So any shout outs this week?
Well, I mean, certainly shout out all the workers at Hershey Park. I was out at Hershey on Saturday, first time in I don't know, like a month and a half or something. It'd been a little while. Had a great time up there. It's a little chilly, but always a great visit.
So I've got a few shout outs. So shout out to Jake Bates and Jameer Gibbs, the heroes of Sunday afternoon for the Lions. Shout out to last Wednesday was our banquet night for cross country, and
okay.
it was a really fun evening. Almost the entire team was there. I think we were only missing 2 guys for the event, which I wish that they'd been able to be there, but one of the best attended banquets that we've had for DeMatha cross country. And it was a really nice night. The senior parents went all out for them this year. Like they got balloons for them back at championships as sort of senior night sort of thing.
Okay.
We've never really honored seniors in that way with cross country. We don't it's not the same as football or basketball or soccer where you have like a traditional senior night
because like one big last game.
Right. With cross country, it's never really been that way, but they did a little something for them. For the championship game, and then for the banquet, they got banners with their pictures on them and their names and everything. Okay. They got canvas pictures for them with their PR time and the date that they set it printed on it, which was really cool. They got them like magnet buttons with their faces on it, as well as a bottle opener for the parents.
Oh, okay.
No, they really went all out for them. It was really cool to see that, and hopefully we get similar want to from senior parents going forward, so we can continue to honor the seniors that way. But definitely shout out to all of our seniors. This was one of my favorite senior classes that we've had. So I'm gonna miss them. Got a picture from them with all the seniors signed it. Which was really cool. So I've got that up in my office now. And then all the award winners. Lucas Moisuk was our most valuable athlete for the year. Akin Alade was the most improved freshman. Stavros Rodosakis was our most improved returning athlete. Our leadership award went to Dominic Hilton, who's a sophomore. We had captain awards that went to Terrence Rasher and Renaud Williams. And then the coaches awards went to Jesse Holland, Philip Marshall, and William Herman. So shout out to all those guys for being such important parts of the team. And Stavros Rodosakis has already asked me for an off-season training plan. He really wants to get even faster than he did this year. And so I've been retooling our training plan. I'm putting something together for him for the off season, but that sort of thing makes me really excited for cross country to start back up next summer, and possibly even get some guys doing some things during the off season if they're not doing other sports. So shout out to those guys, shout out to the team, and shout out to the Stags for winning the WCAC title and setting a new school record with 21 consecutive victories.
21 wins in a row. So we went undefeated last year, too?
I think we lost in the first game of the season last year.
Oh.
If I remember correctly. But yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Pretty good.
And shout out to whoever DeMatha's head cross-country coach is.
Yeah, whoever that guy is.
Yeah, that guy. He's probably doing a good job somewhere, whatever he's up to.
Maybe. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. If you have made it this far into the podcast and you haven't already done so, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're listening on YouTube, you can hit the bell icon so that you always know when we are going live. If you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify, drop us a review if you feel so inclined. You can email us at thesportsballers@gmail.com. If you have any sort of mailbag questions you'd like us to get to, topics you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to give us feedback, we're always happy to hear that, and we may read it on the show if it is appropriate to do so. You can also find our website, thesportsballers.com. On there, we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got our weekly our weekly recap of our game picks against the spread for the NFL. We've got my fantasy sports updates for our fantasy football league. You also have the Weekly Whiz.
Yes, the Weekly Whiz.
Yeah, Eric's new column this week. Every Tuesday, he drops a new article of the Weekly Whiz, recapping the last week's worth of Wizards games. It's been a lot of sadness.
Wizard woes.
It's been a lot of sadness. At the end of this past week, they'd lost 14 in a row to fall to 1-15. And it seems like that might change. We'll see, because the Wizards are currently winning 91-70 about halfway through the third quarter. Still plenty of time for them to blow that game. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. The Wizards scored 45 points in the first quarter.
Okay.
It's pretty impressive.
What are they playing? I already forgot.
The Hawks, who are 11-7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're decent. You can find us on Twitter at SportsBallers18. You can also follow us individually. I am at Corey Puffett. Eric is at Quagmire67. And Evan is at Evan_Ash13. This has been episode 318 of the Sports Ballers podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.